Welcome back to the Girl Dad Podcast. I am your host, Lexi, and we are here in Austin, Texas. So this week's episode is going to look a little bit different. My dad is MIA. He's just very busy, so I had to make some plans of my own. I am here, actually. Some of my friends are throwing this film festival, and oh my gosh, it has been the most amazing weekend ever. So it's the Creator Camp Film Festival. So they have collected the internet's most talented filmmakers and storytellers to put on this film festival. So a lot of these filmmakers, it's their first film ever, and a lot of their films have just been made on YouTube for that kind of stuff, and it's a lot of their first time. So it was really, really cool. It was the first time this film festival has ever been a thing. Sold out the Paramount Theater, 1,200 people. The energy was electric. They had the most amazing musical artists performing at night. Again, two of my good friends, Geller and Clint, go listen to their music. They're so talented. And it was so fun. It is so cool to see my friends succeed. And I feel like as I've gotten older, that has become more and more important to me. Like, I love watching my friends thrive. I love watching them win games. I love watching them make a new song. I love watching them release a new video. Like, I love when they do well. So this week's episode is going to look a little bit different because Scott is in Mexico for Live, and I didn't get the invite, and I am here in Austin for the festival. I decided that I was just gonna utilize being around some of my favorite people and get some of their wisdom and lessons that they've learned from their life and put some of the answers together for you all. So I asked them all two questions, okay? The first question is, what is the most important lesson that you've learned in your 20s? The second question was, what is something that your parents taught you that has stuck with you as you've grown up? The answers are amazing. These people are amazing, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I did. Before we dive into it, we are gonna do our weekly dad advice of the week. So this week's question is, how can parents embrace and uplift their kids' creativity through different stages of growing up?
Lex, that's a wonderful question. I am here in Incheon, Korea for Live Golf Korea. It's been quite an incredible experience, just coming off Mexico City as well. So a lot of travel, two new incredible cultures to study and learn from. But your question has me thinking. It's a really beautiful question. You know, I believe that as a parent, sometimes our children take on what we do, what we know, what our interests are. And I think there's something really special about that. As a mentor, as a teacher, as a coach, as a parent, that we hold a special place for children to look up to and aspire to. But as a parent, I always tried to lean into my girls and fall in love what they fall in love with. I learned that from a good friend of mine, Jared Stone. And he had this sense of what his children were invested in and involved in, he became invested and involved in. And so you, Lex, you were artistic and creative and could play instruments and sing and dance and were in school plays. And I could never do any of that, even in my wildest dreams. And so if there's an interest, I think those interests should be celebrated and supported and uplifted. And I hope I did that. But seeing you stretch and thrive to do things differently, and it was special. So that's what I strive to do as a dad, as a parent.
Thank you, Dad. And let's get into it. What is the biggest lesson that you've learned in your 20s?
Biggest lesson I learned in my 20s? Oh my gosh, that's actually hard.
Oh man.
The most basic principle of the Bible, love God and love people.
There's always another opportunity. I feel like in your 20s, when you're starting to figure out life, you want your life to go a certain way, but it's always changing and there's always another door opening.
I learned I can work on myself and grow as a person. I was so sheltered as a kid, and I thought I was locked into being like an introverted person, and I couldn't actually like express myself. And then I learned I could.
When you especially with the internet, when you see other people that are in similar spaces as you or similar age and they're doing crazy stuff, I think it's very easy to be like, okay, I'm super behind, but everyone's on their own destination and things take time. And at a certain point you will, as you keep at what you're doing, you don't have to make it by 18 or 20. You could still, even if you're 45, you're on your own journey and things take time. And I think when you focus on yourself, a lot of blessings come your way.
That you are not what people have labeled you as. I feel like growing up, people put you in a box or tell you what you're supposed to do or going to school and things like that. And I just think in your 20s is when you should figure out that you don't have to be anything, that you can figure that out.
Save more money, because I think I would have set myself up better for the future if I did that, instead of spending it on just dumb things. And then the second is just continue to unapologetically be myself. And I feel like I kind of followed this a little bit, but when you're young, you don't have any risk. And it's your time to just try things, be a little stupid, take that leap that you want to take, and really just like go for your dreams. Like that is what your 20s is all about.
Don't care what other people think. Genuinely, it's so ironic and been repeated so much, but like being yourself not only is fulfilling creatively and personally, but I think is inspiring to others, you know? I think everyone wants to be themselves, but are scared of the judgment associated to being different. And I think difference is beautiful.
Embrace the chaos that is reality or whatever.
Love that.
Which is basically life is a lot. Everything's super heavy. I was very existential for a big part of my life, especially my 20s. And life kind of scared me a lot sometimes. I think the realization of kind of how small we are in the universe and how chaotic life is and how things just happen. I don't know, it's nice to just embrace that. I don't know, there's a lot of beautifulness in the chaos. So the way I live my life is to embrace this reality that I'm in currently right now.
That is beautiful.
Making friends and seeing as much as I can.
Time, it moves on with or without you. And so it's what are you going to make use of your time? I literally feel like I was 18 a couple years ago. I'm 27. My 20s have gone by really fast.
Yeah.
And so I think it's being intentional with your time, whether it's a career, a passion you want to build, or it's meaningful relationships that you want to build. I think it's important to not really waste the time and just be intentional with the time.
I think I've learned that it's you should always say yes to things, and that a lot of the most fun and spontaneous moments and really cool opportunities have come from just saying yes, even if it means skipping the gym for the day or moving around your routine a little bit, and just that the regret of saying no is worse than the regret of saying yes.
What is one thing that your parents taught you that has stuck with you the most as you've grown up?
Just be as generous as you can to people. I think my dad was always very helpful and always helped anyone he saw. So for me, I have a lot of friends. I always help them. I feel that innately, just if it's yo, you need money or you need a ride, just always giving back to people. And then you don't giving back without expecting anything as well. You just have to do it out of your pure want. I think that helps. That's
totally.
the big thing.
My mom hates when I tell this story, but there was once when I was younger. So I grew up in the middle of the woods, and I hated more than anything doing yard work. Yard work was the worst thing. I just never wanted to do it. And I would purposely kind of do a bad job because I was just trying to find any way to get out of it. And I remember one day my mom, out of real just frustration with me, she said, "You're gonna get fired from every job you ever have." And she really said that. She said, "You're gonna get fired from every job you ever have. You have the worst work ethic." And I never forgot it. And a part of the reason why I work so hard is to continue to prove my mom wrong. Even though my mom is my biggest support and she supports everything that I do, and I love her, and she's my number one fan. But in that moment, it's just something that I'll never forget.
The biggest lesson that my family has taught me, so my parents are immigrants, and my mom, when she first moved to the States, she would work at a factory job, and the amount she would make from the factory job was the taxi fare to get there.
Wow.
So they just were surviving.
Wow.
So I think my parents just taught me just hard work, because they're immigrants. They had to work hard all day, making no money. And so I think growing up, it was really annoying because my mom was always come out and take out the weeds, or come out and plant flowers, or Kumon. Do you know what Kumon? If you know what Kumon is, then you understand the trauma that I have with Kumon. Kumon is it's a tutor. It's a private tutor place.
Okay.
And every Asian and Indian would be it was just
No, that sounds more like a rich person thing.
No. It was child it was abuse pretty much.
What?
It was cheap. You just go and you would do math problems.
You had to go to that?
Yeah, it was literally. So I think just my parents, it was annoying how they would always make us work hard, but now I'm very grateful because I don't know. I feel not to boast, but I feel I have a good work ethic.
I was gonna say you are literally one of the hardest workers I know.
I don't know about the hardest,
No,
but
you
like
totally are.
it's I know what it takes.
Yeah.
That it's cool to be weird and that it's
I love that.
yeah, no, it's so cool to just like express yourself through your fashion and your art, and it's okay to maybe not fit in with everybody.
It's ironic because I don't follow their lesson, but it's more important than ever right now. Health is priority. And as a creative, I think sometimes we forget to prioritize our health, and we create and make and push and push and push, but we don't take care of ourselves sometimes. Both of my parents are incredibly like healthy and like physically fit and like badasses, and I think because of that, I pushed away from like being physically embodied or like healthy and present in my own body. So they really taught me that like health is important, and prioritizing being healthy is like prioritizing longevity in your life and everything else. So like if creating is the priority, think about how long you're going to be creating, you know? And your lifespan is how long you're going to be creating. So if you limit your lifespan by pushing yourself to make the stuff now, you won't be able to make the stuff later.
I mean, I think when it comes to like my mom and dad, I think growing up, I mean, it was like kind of also generic stuff, but they've always like pushed me to be very inclusive and friendly with everyone I meet, and I think like that has always stuck with me. My dad's kind of the same way I am in terms of like having friends. Like my dad just has a lot of friends. A lot of people love him.
And
I'm
you
like,
have more friends than anyone ever, everywhere. You have friends literally everywhere. It's so
appreciate
cool.
It's like my life goal. I just want to make friends, have a good time, and I feel like growing up watching my dad like even like hanging out with his friends or at parties, like telling stories, like definitely like stuck with me.
This is like random because I don't think it's the most important thing that my parents taught me, but I just remember my dad saying it to me like a million times was, if you are thinking to do something and you can do it in that moment, like do it now. Don't ever like say, oh, I'm gonna do something later, or I'll wake up tomorrow and do it. Like do it in that moment. And then my mom never gave me like the birds and the bees talk or whatever it's called, but she told me, if you ever sleep with someone, you're giving them a piece of you.
Okay, what is one thing that your parents taught you that has stuck with you the most as you've grown up?
There's only two things you can do with your head down, and it's pray and play golf.
I would say living an intentional life. I've witnessed it through my parents' life, and I think that has reflected, and it's kind of ingrained in me.
I think one of the best things my parents taught me was that they pushed me to go new places instead of stay in what was familiar. And it's, of course, sad to not be living in the same city and to be more long distance with them. But I think that they know I'd regret it when I'm older to not move somewhere new, travel around the world, and just try new places, and that it's really good to push yourself.
To close out, we're gonna play a little game of Guess the Disney Character, okay?
I grew up watching Disney.
So, okay, well then you are gonna be at a slight disadvantage. So, I'm gonna think of a character, okay? And then you guys are gonna trade off asking questions to try and come to the solution of the Disney character, all right?
Are they a human?
No.
Is this like new Disney or old Disney?
Old Disney?
Is it an animal?
No.
Is it like a princess?
No.
Or I guess yes, if it's human.
No, not human, not a princess.
Not an animal, right? Just,
Not an animal.
No,
Is it a girl?
No.
it's not a human.
It's can still be a girl or boy.
True.
Like it's a character.
I can
like,
think of,
can I say
two
that?
Disney people.
Okay, who? Mickey and Minnie.
Like yeah, that and like Lion King.
Okay. You know this movie. I know you know this movie. Should I give you guys the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, the movie. I'm not gonna give you the movie, but I'm gonna say it has a princess in the movie.
Is it like a Cinderella?
It's not. No, and it's not Cinderella, but it's one of the Cinderella like. No, but same era. No. I said not Cinderella.
I don't know any other ones.
Okay, her name starts with a B.
Beatrice.
Wait, seriously, Belle?
She
Who's
is a
Belle?
person.
Who's Belle?
She's a
Wait, no,
person.
no.
and
Wait, no, it's not Belle. It's not Belle. That's the movie.
the Beast.
No.
Wait, Belle? I've never heard of that.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't actually remember the name of the guy, but it's a little clock. Clocksworth?
Oh, no,
Clocksworth?
no, that's not his name.
Anyway, thanks for joining us this week's episode of Girl Dad Podcast. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you guys next week.